What's up guys, it's Scanderloud here from explainingcomputers.com. Now, I love interacting with you guys in the comments, always down to chat about all things tech. But over time, I've noticed some recurring myths popping up. You know, those facts everyone seems to accept as gospel, even though they're just plain wrong. So, in this video, I'm putting on my myth-busting hat to tackle 7 common misconceptions in the tech world head-on. We're diving deep, separating truth from fiction, and hopefully clearing up some confusion along the way. Let's get right into it. Alright, let's kick things off with a big one that's been floating around for years. The idea that Windows 10 was meant to be the last version of Windows. Remember when Microsoft execs hinted at Windows 10 being the final frontier? Yeah, that sent shockwaves through the tech world. Suddenly, everyone believed Windows 10 would just keep getting updates forever. No more new versions. But here's the thing, Microsoft never officially confirmed that. It was mostly speculation fueled by a few out-of-context remarks. And guess what? Windows 11 came knocking in 2021, proving that even the biggest tech giants can change their tune. So yeah, Windows 10 wasn't the end of the line, just another chapter in the ever-evolving story of Windows. Next up, let's talk about M2. Now you often hear people saying M2 is super fast, but here's where the confusion sets in. M2 itself isn't actually an interface. Think of it more like a form factor, a physical connector on your motherboard. What determines the speed is the actual interface that the M2 slot supports. It could be SATA, which is what we've had for a while, or the blazing fast NVM, which is a whole other beast. So, next time someone throws around M2 speed, remember it's all about the interface running on that M2 connector. Don't judge a book by its cover, or in this case, an SSD by its M2 slot alone. Okay, let's clear up another common misconception, USB-C. Much like M.2, it's often mistaken for an interface when it's really a connector type. You see that sleek reversible port on your laptop or phone? That's USB-C. But what actually flows through it can vary. It could be the older USB 3.0, the speedier USB 3.1, or even Thunderbolt 3, which is in a league of its own when it comes to bandwidth. So just because you see a USB-C port doesn't automatically guarantee lightning-fast data transfers. It all boils down to the specific USB protocol supported by your device and cable. Chapter 4. Linux, on a USB, it won't destroy your drive. Now let's address a myth that causes unnecessary fear. The idea that writing a Linux ISO to a USB drive will completely ruin it. This one's a bit more technical, but bear with me. When you put a Linux distro on a USB drive, you're essentially creating Linux partitions that Windows can't read. This leads some people to believe their drive is toast. But hold on, it's not the end of the world. You can easily restore the drive to its former glory using the diskpart utility in Windows. It's a powerful tool that lets you manage partitions and get your drive back in shape. So don't let this myth stop you from experimenting with Linux. Chapter 5, Google Docs, your thoughts are safe, mostly. Here's one that concerns a lot of people. The idea that Google is constantly reading your Google Docs, scanning for keywords to target you with ads. Let's set the record straight. Google has explicitly stated that they don't do that. They're not in the business of reading your private documents for advertising purposes. However, they do admit to scanning for things like malware, monitoring performance, and enabling features like search within your documents. So, while your deepest thoughts might be safe from Google's ad algorithms, it's good to be aware that some level of automated scanning is happening behind the scenes. Chapter 6. Linux, Beyond the Terminal. Okay, let's tackle a persistent myth about Linux. The belief that you absolutely need to be a command line wizard to use it. While it's true that Linux offers unparalleled command line control, modern Linux distributions have come a long way in terms of user-friendliness. You can install, configure, and use a Linux distro without ever touching the terminal. Distros like Ubuntu, Linux Mint, and Pop_OS offer intuitive graphical interfaces that are just as easy to navigate as Windows or macOS. So don't let the command line reputation scare you away from exploring the world of Linux. Chapter 7, RAID, not a backup solution. Finally, let's debunk a myth about data safety. The misconception that RAID automatically keeps your data safe. Now RAID is great for protecting against a single drive failure. If one drive in your RAID array kicks the bucket, you're still good to go. But here's the catch. RAID isn't a foolproof backup solution. It won't protect you from things like user error, accidentally deleting files, malware attacks, power surges, or even theft. For true data security, you need a robust backup strategy that involves storing copies of your data in a separate location. So there you have it. 7 common computing myths officially debunked. Hopefully this video has shed some light on these misconceptions and armed you with the knowledge to navigate the tech world with confidence. If you found this video helpful, be sure to smash that like button and share it with your friends. And if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button to stay updated on all things tech. Until next time, stay curious.